Channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to cut a tulip sleeve. So for that I'm going to be using this pattern paper here. There can also be a long version of it, like a long sleeve or three-quarter version, and but I'm going to be showing you guys how to do both in this video. So basically what you're going to do, I'm going to start with this pattern paper. So what you're going to do is you're going to decide where you want your sleeve to overlap, right? So how many inches away from the front of this part you want. So let's say I decide to use about 4 inches, right? So I'm going to label this part the back, and then this is the front, right? Come down here by about 4 inches, down here, somewhere here, and then I'm also going to mark my center line, which is here. So this is where my center line is, right? Which is half side of the sleeve. So now that I've marked about 4 inches here, I'm also going to mark that same 4 inches on this side. But it depends on you how far you want it to be. You can make it 4 inches at 4 inches on both sides, or you can decide to make the one underneath about 3 inches shorter, or then the one overlapping it about the same 4 inches. So guys, now the next thing to do is to determine where the part where you want it to overlap, the point where you want it to overlap. So my sleeve is about 7 inches, so I'm going to make the intersection about 5 inches. That's the point where it's going to overlap, is going to be 5 inches. So now all I have to do is to connect this side to that 5 inches, that 4 inches on this side to the 5 inches, and then down I curved it to the end of the sleeve. So now the same thing for the other side. I'm going to start from where the end of the sleeve, mark it to the 5 inches, and then up to where that 4 inches in front is. So that's basically it. So it goes from the side to the intersection and then down to where the end of the sleeve is. So now that's basically it. All you have to do now is to go ahead and cut out one side. So I'm going to, then you might go ahead, if you decide to cut the front side first, you can go ahead and separate the first one, the front side first. Sorry, just follow that line and cut it out and separate it now, right? And then all I did now is to take that pattern that I cut out from the other one, I glued it down to the new sheet of the new pattern that I have. So now all I have to do is just to mark again that same 4 inches down here, that same 4 inches from this side, right? And then I'm going to try to transfer this line just like this. I'm going to try to transfer this same line here so that I can be able to cut the other side. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and marked that in here. So this one here is going to be my back, for my back pattern, right? But then I'm trying to recreate my front pattern, because as you can see, I've cut out this piece here, and to trace out the front I need to mark this again. So I've marked it out now, and then all I have to do is just to follow this same line. You see my line is back again. I'm just going to follow this same line and just cut this out this way. So you see what it looks like now. So I have the two sides. One is going to the two of them will meet at this part here where I have this line. So this, my center line, is going to overlap each other. So you see my center line here is going to overlap this center line here. So now you see my sleeve. So you see my sleeve is going to look like this. So this is how the tulip sleeve is. So you can go ahead and sometimes people might want to make it a puffy sleeve, but we already know what a puffy sleeve looks like, right? The top part here, it can also come in a puffy sleeve. I'm just going to insert what it looks like in a puffy sleeve now. So you can see it just has like a top part that looks like this again, right? It just means that the upper part here has a lot more fabric that you can gather. So all you have to do, I already have a tutorial on how to cut a puffy sleeve. So all you have to do is still the same thing. Mark where you want your curve to be, but this time around you will not be marking it on the puffy part. You'll be marking it on the main pattern of the sleeve, because remember, with puffy sleeve you cut the sleeve out, and then you cut out your normal pattern of sleeve, and then you add the top part of the puffiness, right? But you're going to still be drafting it on just the main pattern of the sleeve. So you see, if let's say this was a puffy sleeve now with this thing at the top, which is what a puffy sleeve normally looks like, right? I will just ignore this puffy part of it and then just trace my pattern on the main part of the fabric. But once you cut it, remember this top part here is still going to come in, right? So now this is what my sleeve looks like. And guys, sometimes people make like 2 layers, 3 layers. All that means is that now you're going to take this first layer, which is going to be the longer one. You're going to trace it out on a fabric, trace out the other one on a fabric, and then the next layer you're going to just go ahead and mark it maybe 1 inch shorter, like 1 inch shorter like this, and then cut out this part, and then go back in again and trace out what is left. So let's say I decide to do 2 layers now. All I have to do is go ahead. Once I have this my first pattern, I'm going to trace it out, and then I'm going to cut out this part now, go back in and trace out this part again, so that this one here will overlap on top, right? So that's how you're going to keep doing it if you're doing 3 layers like that. So it depends on the length of the sleeve, so that way it can accommodate more layers. So that way, once you cut more layers, let's say this is the next layer that you cut out now, you overlap this one on top here, you overlap this one on top here, this one comes in, and then another one comes in. So that way, like, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but this tutorial is just to explain to you the basic of cutting this tulip sleeve. I'm going to cut out mine so that you guys can see what it looks like. I'll cut it out on a fabric. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and cut mine out. So you see where it is now. So I'm just going to notch the center so that I don't make mistakes. So I'm going to notch the top part where the line is that demarcates the front and the back. So guys, at this point now, you can go ahead. So I'm going to take away the pattern. You can just go ahead and use bias to finish one side of it, or so I'm going to just use bias to finish one and use lining to finish one, just so you guys can see what it looks like. Basically, to use lining to finish it, all you have to do is to just cut the same pattern and flip it inside out. So let's say this is the same pattern as this one. I want to use lining for it. All I have to do is just cut the same as this, finish up the end like this, sew it down, and then I'm going to just flip it like this and iron it down. 2, 1 lining, 1 bias, and bring it back so that you guys can see. As you can see, I finished it here and then I joined it to this part. So all I need to do now is to take it like this and join it to the sleeve, to the body of whatever I'm making it for. So you see, this side I use lining. So like I said before, all you have to do is to join the edge of it and then pull it back and iron it out. So you see, I joined at the edge, and then the whole rough end is going to fit into the part that is going to fit into this sleeve, because remember, this now is just your sleeve. So this is the part that will join to the body of your dress. So you see how it crosses over. So anyone you want, you can use bias, you can use lining. So I just wanted to show you guys the 2 of them. So now you see what the front looks like. So this is how you make that sleeve that you normally see that overlaps each other. You can make it in a longer version of it. Just determine how long you want, where you want the intersection of the 2 of them to be, and then you're going to mark how far you want it to come down on the shoulder, and then you're going to mark it from that point to where it's going to cross over and then down. So that's just the basic of this sleeve here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.